Okay, we are live with my controversial friend, Preston
Hello, everyone.
Poulter of Pocket Jack Comics. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yo, a ton.
It's getting crazy.
Yes.
And I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to tell you, the viewers behind the scenes, I have never got so much pushback having guests as when I started talking to Preston,
Right.
even from my so-called friends,
Yeah.
and wanting to have Doug Tenapo on. Now, like I said, I don't agree with it. Who here really agrees with everything everyone does, even if they're friends? No
No
one.
one. Yeah,
You
no
got
one.
to be real.
Yeah.
Edwin, boy, yeah, I watched your video, Edwin. Yeah,
Oh, hello.
that was yeah. I'm open to having Edwin on too. I think
Sure.
I don't know as much about Edwin, so
Right.
or if Preston would want me on his show in the future, I have to return the offer if he
Right.
wants.
Sure.
But I also do not know as much as you guys. You really follow this very
You
closely.
you
You have.
like so much happens every week. That's
Mhm.
why I have a show called Last Week in Comicsgate where I just decided I'm just gonna cover 7 days. And I have to do a lot of prep for that show because there's so much stuff to go through, and there's like discords and tweets and YouTube live streams that go on for hours, and you have to, and like, for instance, uh a week, in my last episode I talk about Ethan Van Sciver um saying that Mike S. Miller did not pay his art team for the comic book he did,
I
The
heard
Meg.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was in the middle of a 9+ hour live stream. So I got to go track it down. Okay, where in this 9 hour live stream did he make this statement? And then I clip it out. And then when you watch it on my show, it's all nice and smooth. But getting there was a pain in the ass. So, it's tough, but I do it as a labor of love for you guys. So what can I say?
I think you bring up some important questions. That's why I have you on
Uh,
the show. I
Thanks.
don't think you're just controversial to be controversial,
No.
which some may have said. And you know what? I was going to do
Sure.
this second video about you
Right.
with some of your accusations. To be
Sure.
fair,
Yeah.
and we're opening it up to the chat.
Fair enough.
Anyone that says, yeah, I see you right here. I'll tell you one thing I noticed about Panboy right away.
Okay. All right.
I know Pan
Right.
casually
Yes.
from the beginning of the movement
Yeah.
of the Last Jedi Backlash.
Right.
I haven't interacted with him at all for a long time until I was saying I wanted to collab with the Comic Book Cut.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he popped in my chat, and kind of like we're buddy, but we don't really talk that much.
Right.
And you know what, Pan Boy? I'll give you this. I was gonna make this video to say, hey, there's accusations of Preston lying.
Right.
I want to know I want to hear people, what did he lie about?
Right.
And to be completely transparent, Pan Boy, I was going to have you on the show. And one of the first questions I was going to ask you, and you're still welcome to come on the show, but just be prepared. This is the first question I'm going to ask you. Not
Right.
is there recorded or video proof of you being at that con? Were you at the con?
Right.
Because I saw some of your tweets. Where's the video proof? That's not what people were asking. People were asking, were you there?
Right.
Now, if Preston is making accusations about your legal problems, I think it's fair of you to say if he's a liar,
Mm-hmm.
but I really don't know. And I'm not going to say if I believe Preston 100% that or you. So you guys got to work that on your own. But I was creating this other video to say, let's open it up, have the viewer say, if you're going to say Preston's a liar,
Right.
ask him what he's lying about, and he's here to answer your question.
I'm here. Let's do this.
So, Panboy, tell what is he lying about? And since you're in the chat, go right ahead, brother. I'm not full dark side. What I've seen, well, here's legitimate. Right. What I've seen so far,
right,
is snitches get stitches, doxed, harassed, and deplatformed. Right. I don't agree everything with Doug Tenaple's done, but some of his stuff is religious beliefs. he has that right as long as he doesn't cross the line. I've seen a lot of trying to deplatform him.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely deplatform him. And my pal Lunga, he wanted to have Doug TenNapel, and he got dogpiled on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm used to it at this point. So
yeah. So even though I don't agree with, I don't want Comicsgate to die. Right. I don't want it. This is me. I don't want creators to lose their income and not have a place to put their Indiegogos.
Sure.
I just want it to get back to comics and consumers instead of, if you only rights are a beautiful thing, but what did Stan Lee say? With great power comes great responsibility. So if you have the right, respect it, and also respect people. And to me, I guess it's subjective, but it's not just memes, bro. It's harassment.
Yeah.
And I think even though the video title of Preston's video was the platform Ethan Van Sciver, which I do not agree with.
Sure.
The actual content of the video was proof that there is doxing on live streams and harassment of a customer. It's not up to you to think if the customer was right or not. Customers have rights to ask whatever they want for. You don't go harass a customer. And that video clip of that woman customer, I don't know all much about it, but that video disgusted me.
Yeah,
that's not funny.
Right.
And I'll tell you this to the real fanboy. I'm not against you. I hope you get some help. I think everyone that focuses this much should get some help because it's not healthy.
Right.
It's not healthy for the person receiving this stuff, and it's not healthy to do this. How much of your time is devoted to this internet gang piling, dog piling on people, and this is what SJWs do. So what is the difference? It seems like internet mafia or gang, and snitches get stitches, and actually the platforming. There's also, I have to say, a lot of manufactured war going on with a lot of war profiteers and links to peoples that have websites, channels that all are benefiting on this. And if the enemy goes away, so does their funding and their people devoted to this, like you, Panboy.
Right.
You are how much have you invested in this movement? What happens if the manufactured war goes away? Now, there are SJWs, but you also look for them. I think a lot of this is looking for an enemy and fake drama.
Yes. I mean, in my opinion. And like, if you look at, the culture war claims of, we got to fight the culture war. Okay. Well, now they're not even fighting the SJWs anymore. Now they're fighting the antis, like me. Like, okay. What happened to the SJWs? Because a year ago, you were saying that they were stopping you from, doing whatever. Well, no one is stopping Ethan or Doug or me from going on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I did report Cecil because I felt Cecil's campaign violated the harassment policy. But let's say Indiegogo said, yes, it does. Well, then he just would have had to put up another one that didn't include, one that specifically references Doug TenNapel as a tapeworm that's out to crawl up a dog's ass, right? I mean, like, how has he been limited in that regard? So,
well, to address what Preston's done, I think the worst thing you could say about Preston is that he uses the features of the platform, that the platform is a business as well, and they want it there for people that may abuse it. He used the legal way to do it, and then told people, instead of doing back schemes and scams that the Fudge campaign might be doing, behind the scenes stuff, he told you right to your face, and you don't like it, but he told you. So when Little Caesar, and I'll call, you know why I'm going to call him the comic book hunt. I'll agree with Little Caesar because he could have been an actual Caesar, but this is hot and ready bullshit.
Yeah,
that is there to create false drama, get the funds fast, and create a huge divide in the. I still can't get the image out of my head of Doug TenNapel and Ethan linking arms together, and then just stop your rights to be assholes and just focus on the comics of where it would have gone.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely think it's dead now. It's not growing. It's just milking your same bank of fandom and a band-aid to the career. Now, does it help new people come in create comics? Yes, but you also have to kiss that Little Caesar ass any way you can. And if you speak out against them, you get dogpiled.
Yeah.
And I'm not against Ethan. So how the hell do you say that I'm dark side Panboy? Just because I'm having Preston on? I didn't agree with him saying deplatform Ethan. Why am I going to deplatform him? So I want to have Doug Tenaple on. So I mean, but he even though I don't agree with him, his video had a lot of reasons why he thinks it should happen. And it is harassment to me. I'm not gonna tell viewers what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what I think. Yes, it's harassment. And if you think this kind of shit is funny, a lot of people do not. Yes, your free speech is a beautiful thing. Don't abuse it. And don't think you have the right to do it on every platform there. The platform owner has the rights not to have people being abused when they want to use social media.
Right.
That's my thoughts. Sorry, I was getting hot.
All right. No, sounds good. I mean, well, Pan's here, so you asked him a question a couple of minutes ago. Has he filed a response?
Oh, War Campaign's here too.
Okay.
Don't deplatform people, War Campaign. I thought you were against that.
Yeah.
All I've seen, and I saw other proof recently online. I was trying to do a little research that you're trying to deplatform another indie creator. What was it? The Comic Book Hut was talking about it the last few days.
I had that guy on. Six Scale Combat, who came out with Napalm Brothers.
Oh, that's real mature, bro.
There you go.
Real mature, bro. Yeah, hell yeah. You gonna be tough now? Oh, soy boy. Oh, I'm real offended.
Anyway.
What type of behavior is that? Grow up. Grow up. Is this about comics? Right. Is this about comics? Is this about the benefit of everyone? In backholes, what is that?
He is obsessed with that stuff. Yeah.
Real mature.
Right.
If you actually can't, hey, bro, I'm calling you out now, bro. I'm calling you out. If it's about comics, if it's about supporting these people, how is this behavior going to help Ethan grow? How's he going to get a Netflix deal for Cyberfrog? All you care about is this type of shit. It's what you've become. Blame the Fudge campaign. That's why I say that shit. Hell yeah. I've seen a lot of stuff. Show me the proof that Preston's lying. Yeah, he probably has multiple reasons why he's doing this shit. Yeah, but some of it is that he doesn't want fandom or consumers to be harassed or people to be deplatformed.
Right.
You've become the thing you hate, and it's all about the memes, bro. And the memes aren't funny.
And I gotta say that questioning the motivation of someone is one of those classic manipulator tactics. Well, whenever you're in a relationship or in any kind of thing, and you're like, I'd really like it if, say, you'd stop eating my cereal. And they're like, well, why would you say that?
If this stuff keeps escalating, bro,
right?
If it keeps escalating and then it actually goes to court, which I don't want to see anyone go into court. I don't want to see anyone end up in jail or anyone hurt.
Right.
Which at this point, when EVS, now there's been debates about if EVS actually encourages you guys. I think that's a moot point at this point after some of the recent developments of do a deep dive on Preston. I said I don't agree with everything he does.
Right.
Or if you're for freedom of speech, why are you trying to say, I saw you, some tweets. I don't have the tweets ready for an image, but
I can maybe pull them up. I'm pretty good at it. What are we looking for?
Well, he's saying if you have this guy on, kiss Comicsgate goodbye to another YouTuber.
Oh, okay. Sure. I think that's this guy being me, I'm assuming.
No. It was another channel.
Okay.
Hold on a second. I didn't have this ready.
All right.
you can't do this stuff. And yeah, it's your right to do it, not to have it on social media.
Yeah.
To have this type of content, to have this type of stuff. Let me see.
Right.
Pan, no one at Dark Rift Comics. Now, I don't know much about Dark Rift Comics,
Sure.
but it says no one from War Campaign will ever go on future episodes. We don't appear with people that platform doxers.
Okay.
But you're doxers yourself.
Right.
And then Dark Rift Comics, in my defense, says the first I'm hearing that he doxing. I'll definitely touch on that.
Right.
Touch on it, drill his ass the whole time on it. I think you guys do the same thing. Where did you go, Ro? Are you still there? Pan Boy, where are you? I want to hear what Preston's lying about.
Right.
Hey, I'll be the first one to expose Preston when I find out what he's lying about.
I'm here. Right.
And are you fair with that, Preston?
Absolutely. I go through this every day on Twitter. People are like, "You're lying. What am I lying about?" And then they'll go with "You're biased." Okay, I'm biased. That's not the same as lying. That's totally different.
And again, I said I don't agree with what he's done. Right. But the worst thing that Preston has done is use the features of the platform that the platform owners want.
Right.
Your freedom of speech doesn't entitle you to be a harasser on social media.
Right.
It's up to the platform.
Okay.
The platform doesn't want that. So it's
right.
within his rights to use it.
Okay. So Pan is saying never dox anyone, proof or it's libel. Okay.
I saw proof that Ro doxed someone on a live stream.
Yes. Yeah, Ro definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so where did Ro go?
I don't know where Ro went.
Oh, bye, Ro. The campaign of war.
Right.
The other thing we were saying is we were discussing a little bit behind the scenes is the origins of this. And a lot of people in this movement, their so-called Bible is SJWs always lie, that kind of get this in the mindset. Yes. And I think Ethan is possibly a fan of this book at the beginning.
Yeah, I was talking with John Delarose, which, all right, we're talking about, as long as we're talking about controversial figures, John Delarose is a very controversial figure. But, I was doing Wizard World in Bay Area, and he offered to put me up for the night. And I don't care how controversial you are. If I'm saving on a hotel, then I'll stay with you. Sure, why not? So, I stayed with him, and he took me out for dinner, and he was talking about, some of the early days with him and Vox, with Ethan. And, well, JDA also has, I'm going to call John Delarose JDA. It's just easier. But, he continues to publish under, Vox's label, as I understand it. And so he and Vox, are pretty tight. And according to John, Ethan was a big fan. So keep in mind, the things I'm saying have been filtered through two people. So maybe true, maybe not. But according to John, Ethan bought Vox's book, SJW's Always Lie, and read it 4 times and was a huge fan and got certain ideas. According to John, the idea for War Campaign came from Vox's idea for there's something he had an army of anonymous minions or whatever.
Vile faceless minions.
Vile faceless minions. That was it. Yeah. So
here's your point, Preston. You can't judge someone's intentions, but when you see things happening and then what they were a fan of, you put two and together and kind of see where it's going. Now, Panboy says this is a thing he's saying. Never doxed anyone, proof or it's liable.
Right.
What's up? What's all this guy suing stuff?
Right.
Did you say he doxed or did you say War Campaign doxed?
I said Ro doxed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I think that was proven. So that's not a lie.
Right. Exactly.
That's not a lie. So he didn't say you specifically. Now, I don't want to comment on Panboy's legal things because I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, according to, Matt Mertz, who is the state of Washington, has a pending trial against Pan, and on Twitter, Pan's like, no, it's not a pending trial. We're just dude, if you're going into a courtroom on a criminal case against you in the future, that's what we call a pending trial. Stop, they always.
So now that we know Panboy's watching, even if you won't appear on my stream, I want you to answer. Is there visual proof, Pan, of you being at the con? Was that you? Yes or no? It's a simple question. And I would love to see your response.
Preston, you just doxed him. I just doxed him. Okay. The Pan in the chat. There's Preston. You just doxed him. Okay.
By saying,
I don't know.
saying I don't know. You're saying his full name. I
Right.
don't agree with that myself.
Okay.
But hey, I said I don't agree with everything he's done, but
Okay.
you'll have to take that up with Preston himself.
Right. Okay.
So,
I don't even know to what he is referring.
by using his full name, by saying his full name, Panboy is under charges.
Panboy is his full name?
No.
Okay.
I'm not saying his full name. You have
okay,
in the past.
I have in the past, yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I guess it's a little bit of a fair criticism.
Right.
I don't like that either.
Okay.
I don't think I've used his name.
Sure.
But you'll have to take that up with Preston.
Right.
I'm not going to deplatform Preston, though.
Right.
I also,
look, this is publicly available information. You can just go and go, oh, wow, there's the state of Washington versus Pan's real name. And, up until a masked figure showed up at Wizard World Portland to, take pictures of me and, yell obscenities at me. And then the Twitter account Pan posts a picture from a nearby restaurant. I'm like, oh, well, I guess we're taking this kind of seriously now. So, but again, they are always playing the victim, always.
All right. Okay. So some say he got timed out. Okay. So I guess that's fair. So I'll ask you to I'll ask anyone. Okay.
Oh, sorry. War Campaign says, okay, have to go. This is boring now. All right. Well, apparently he didn't want to answer your question.
Oh, okay. It's not real boring. Yeah. That's why you were here in the first place, bro. I call bullshit on that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think what was his first comments? Let me go back to his comments. My nips are hard or whatever. Yeah. Here. Talking about back holes.
Yeah.
Is that a little rapey too? Like, I'm coming for your back hole. Is that a rape joke? Like, I'm coming for your back hole if you don't want it?
Routinely.
Like, to me,
yeah,
that seems a little rapey. I'm coming for your back hole even if you don't want it.
Sure. I mean, like, look, they do that.
That's how you show you're a man. I don't get that at all.
I can go to my Twitter and look at like a tweet that came out like 2 days ago. From where they are very much into sodomy for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah. It's your right to do that. I don't have to listen to it. It's my right to call you.
But it's always
go get help if you want. If you're that addicted to back holes.
Right, but it's always like rapey sodomy kind of thing. So.
Right, like if you don't, I'm coming for it. If you don't want it, that's
right.
That's insinuating I'm gonna take your ass.
Yeah.
And give it to you.
Yeah.
And then you're obsessed with dildos.
Right.
Take your dildos and shove it.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm sick of the dildos. I don't know any group that's more obsessed with dildos, and it's not funny.
It's not.
There's something mentally wrong there, and I am making a blanket statement. If you're that obsessed with dildos and all this other stuff and being like internet gay and how that's okay to say people are being gay as a negative thing, then I call you homophobic too. I don't think this shit's funny. I don't stop talking to people either. I have friends that are in this type of humor. And I disagree with it.
Right. Well, I mean, look, it's one thing to have like really dark, sick, twisted humor. It's another thing to broadcast and project this onto other people on a daily basis on social media, up to the limits that the platform will let you. He said
Panboy comes up with the interesting interesting. So I got to address it. Got to be fair.
Sure.
He said that name that was on public in YouTube and Twitter. So I again said I wasn't a fan of what Preston did to you,
right?
But it is pointing and then telling it in the video proof. It was telling people to befriend him for schemes and scams. I'm sorry, that's Edwin's famous saying: schemes and scams.
Exactly.
So schemes and scams to mess with them.
Right.
That's harassment.
Okay.
So I didn't know that before his video, but that's still pointing. I personally have this thing about doxing.
Sure.
And then it's not as bad. I mean, who says just to say what is bad? But there's another symptom of online communities where they point at people where the intention of that social media post was not to get pointed at.
Well, and
bring it to light.
I got to say, the whole War Campaign shtick is they're going to adopt an anonymous name and basically, harass you, if not commit crimes. Like what's happening today. Today, is that Fan Advocacy Network was accused of trafficking in child porn by Renault, right? Well, if you want to investigate, if you want to bring charges, you have to find out who Renault is. So these war campaign people do this all the time, is they will have some anonymous username. They'll go do crazy stuff. And then if you find out who they are, oh, you doxed me. Oh, okay, sorry. So.
Oh, gosh. You know what?
Welcome back, Ro. How are you?
All right. I'm not a fan of this type of stuff. It's your right to do it, but you know, this is why I had problems even having other guests with lots of people don't want to deal with this kind of shit.
Right.
Okay, real funny, Ro. Grow up, brother. Hail maturity. Hail maturity online.
Right.
Yeah. That's what the hell are you? Wait. Hold on a second.
Okay, what do we got?
What's that saying?
Which one?
Right here. I just highlighted it.
Oh, taking it 11, brother, ready to die for comics, brother. Valhalla is a long box. All right, so
that's a threat.
I mean, it seems kind of vaguely threatening. They do that all the time too.
That's not cool.
Shit happens every day. So, like, you can follow any of their Twitters, Panboy, Warcamp. Just follow any of their Twitters. Oh god, and if you get up their live streams, it gets really crazy. But yeah, they do this all the time, like continually every day.
Is that funny to you, Ro? Is that funny to you? This isn't a game. You need help.
Right. And if somebody like Matt Mertz, who they're going after, and like, look, his name is also part of public record because that is, he's the victim in the trial that is pending in Washington.
Well, let me address Ro here. I said I am not for doxing.
Right.
I said I'm not for deplatforming. What I've seen from the war campaign is trying to deplatform people you disagree with and doing the same exact tactics that SJWs do.
Right.
I told everyone watching this that I am not a fan of what some of the things Preston's done, but a lot of the stuff he's done is used the platform and its intended use and let the platform decide what it is. That's not attacking someone's business. That's using the features of an existing business.
Right.
If your whole business exists on someone else's platform, that might be an issue too. If you're going to plan to use Indiegogos for the rest of your life, you might want to try to be better for that platform itself instead of using your rights to be an asshole consistently, dogpile people, internet mafia and gangs, and attack other people.
Right.
So if you're that reliant on a platform, try to behave on that platform and don't do this snitches get stitches and threats. You just threatened me in a comical way, but that was a threat.
Right. And they do that all the time too. And like that dates back to a report I did about Ethan regarding him and Alfie Norris and Jeffrey Hartz going back to like 2012. And Alfie Norris, he seemed to be, he at least had a friendship with, and maybe it's deeper than that. But like Alfie Norris posted the accounts with the DMs to his to a website, which you can still go find. But I go over it in my video on my channel.
No, I don't know if this is actually I don't know if this is still Ro or second, whatever.
Yeah.
I take this seriously, and this is staying live.
Okay.
And they better not come after me, because I don't take jokes like this. This isn't funny to me.
Right.
I don't think you should be doing this to anyone online in any fandom. I don't care if what you think your persona is. It's not a joke, bro. It's not a meme. You don't say this type of stuff to anybody. You don't like what I'm saying, you don't say stuff like that.
Right.
What I've been fair. I'll have Ethan on. I'll have I don't want to have anyone on that's perceived as alt-right. I'll tell you that right now.
Fair enough.
But the same point is, you might not be racist yourself, but there's also a benefit to knowing race white supremacist and using that to push your content and using the talking points, thumbnails, political barking, and dog whistling to get all these movements. And this is not isolated to Comicsgate, the Fandom Menace too, to get this content pushed through these click farms and everything. This is why it's such a toxic environment.
Right. Huh. That's interesting. I haven't looked at it through that angle yet. Have you been looking into that?
Well, you have more time to research. I'm interested in this stuff. This is why I have you on, and I think you give some fair arguments.
Right.
And I'm not about deplatforming people.
Right.
I want to talk to as many people as I can, but I also don't like this type of humor here. Right. And that's why it's highlighted for a while. No, that's not good with me. I have a real problem with this. And then Ethan, if he is your Caesar, not addressing this type of behavior is very dangerous. Very dangerous.
I agree.
No, and you encourage this when something happens. I'm not responsible. You cannot let the Ethan Van Sciver fan group. You say man up and whatever else you said earlier to me, bro. I think you're a little fanboy, Ethan Van Sciver fanboy group that likes to harass competitors. That's what I say. And you do it with inappropriate memes. That here's some advice for all you war campaigners. Stop. I'll do Edwin. Yeah. Stop the fudge. Because when you get into the real world, this isn't accepted anywhere.
No.
It's your right to do it. It's not your right to have it on social media platforms to harass other people, and this shit will follow you everywhere, and no one's going to accept it. Maybe your little bubble thinks it's funny. I know the majority of the public people are not going to think this shit's funny. With all honesty, I say war campaign. Get some help. Stop looking at dildos and Photoshops all day, and move. Focus on the comics. Focus on supporting your creators. And Ethan, if he thinks this shit's funny too, you also need help. Pie in the sky, Little Caesar. I'm sorry, it's not funny.
No,
it's not funny. And I say that to everyone. I have friends in war campaign. Well, I used to. I'll be honest with you, be real transparent. I used to have friends in war campaign. If you think this is funny, you all need help. What I saw in Preston's video is not funny.
Right.
All right. I'm sorry. I got real heated because I don't like this comment at all. That to me is not. Maybe it's a vague threat. Maybe it's a comical threat. I take it as a threat. No, not cool. Anyone in the chat that knows. I ask you to support me for having Preston on that I don't agree with, and you're trying to deplatform him. He said deplatform Ethan. I don't agree with that.
Right.
Ethan's welcome to come on the show. I don't think he wants to. I don't think
so. But I mean, look, in regards to Ethan, I had to start going over. All right, so I had a man in a mask, roughly my height, with kind of a weird squeaky voice, kind of scrawny, which matches Fanboy's description, show up and, yelling obscenities at me and harassing me at a convention, which is an escalation from just being internet stuff. And then the Fanboy's Twitter account posted a photo taken, less than 2 miles away, because I was able to verify that. And then I can take your audience through how I was able to verify that if it's interesting.
And I want to get back to the origins of this specific collaboration came about because I was going to address the Preston's lying. Because Panboy was in my movie talk chat saying Preston's a liar, and I wanted to find out what you're lying about.
Right. Well, we just asked him. What did he say?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. Right. Exactly. That's the whole point. People are like, you're a liar. What did I lie about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a little upset now. I'm not that I'm afraid. I'm pissed as all hell.
Right, and
because I've witnessed this firsthand of what it happens when you say I want to have Doug Knaple or Preston
Right.
on. And Doug Tenaple doesn't make your type of content, Preston.
No.
Why is this? And even I'm not a friend of Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers.
Right.
Look what happened to him when he wanted to have Doug Tenaple on.
What happened to Jeremy? I missed that one.
War Campaign went after him, and Jeremy, Jeremy doesn't have that shit. He's like, no one's going to tell me to have my show or not.
Right.
He had a beef with them too.
Yeah.
You're trying to deplatform this guy. He tries to push his religion a little bit, which is his right, as long as he doesn't cross the line. That doesn't mean you use SJW tactics to try to deplatform him. Right. And what's his other crime? That he left Comicsgate? That's his other crime. Yeah. That's it. So Preston, I have to say you're the more controversial. Mm-hmm. But Doug, there is no reason. I'm not saying there's 100% reason to go after you either. I'm just saying, Doug, there's no reason, and they are trying to actively deplatform this man.
This has been commonplace. So Edwin Boyett says, this has been commonplace over the past year. There we go. Over the past year to swarm commentators and fans in Trancors. Yes. Yeah, I think and that's what I do on my show every week is I just document like, all right, villain of the week, here we go. And, like this week it's going to be Fan Advocacy Network. We have a new villain of the week and allegations of child porn. And
which we don't know 100%, but there's definitely some credibility issues in this. There's lots of things you could do online with fake accounts. And that's a strong accusation. But are they asking the questions? Is it legit? Or is 100% of Comicsgate saying, report this? I think I saw an at the FBI. That's dangerous.
Yeah, that absolutely is. And Edwin was the one who was just running the video on it, so it's over on his channel. But he was, going through the tweets of how, it starts with Renault, and then, Don DeLay, who's a Comicsgate artist, as well as Adam Huerta, who's a Comicsgate artist, are retweeting it and adding comments like this person's like the scum of the earth or a monster, and this person needs to be reported. So, and as Ed was pointing out, this happened in like half an hour, so all of a sudden, and, if you go on my channel, there was one where Alyssa Wong, like back in May or something, there was a phony tweet about, Alyssa Wong that supposedly she said, on the date of Stan Lee's death that she hated Stan Lee and screw him and all you stupid white men and all the edit. Like, it was a completely fake tweet. But, Comicsgate was just running with it. And, so they have this outrage mechanism that they feed into. And I'm reminded of a quote from Winston Churchill of, the lie is halfway around the world before the truth can get its pants on. So.
This is what I'd ask for you, Preston, and people you talk to, is I want you guys to kind of support me because with this type of thing where he's saying, are you sure what was his comment? That was a vague threat.
Yes.
And I don't just because I had you on, I told you I told the viewers that I don't agree with everything you done. And I honestly I would have Preston and Roe on, except I don't want to deal with that type of commentary. I don't like it. I'm not against the right to, I'm not saying cancel War Campaign or anything like that. I want them to behave themselves for sure. I want Comicsgate to be more about being your rights to be assholes, get back to the comics, but get back to indie creators. And I honestly think that Ethan, it's got to the point where he's continually not addressing his fan club. And that's all it is a fan club that goes attack any of his opposition, is stifling Comicsgate. And did Ethan actually take over Comicsgate to save it or take it for himself is another argument. Because there's a lot of fake drama too. The oranges of that. He said Comicsgate Live. I'm not saying it definitely was fake drama, but we know I don't know if there's proof of fake drama to get Indiegogos filled either. There's a lot of stuff there. So please, I am not going to have that. Don't vaguely threaten me, or don't do any threats.
I mean, I was on Twitter earlier because so much stuff was going down, And, Mike S. Miller was in discussion with people such as Cecil and was asking, like, how did I betray Ethan? Which, by the way, people say the same thing of me. They say, you betrayed Ethan. I'm like, how the hell did I betray you? They're like, you asked to be on a show once. I'm like, and he didn't have me. Therefore, how am I betraying him? But they are always framing it from
Well,
this.
I think what we just saw too is absolutely undisputed proof of the intimidations that War Campaign, besides being Ethan Van Sciver's little fanboy group, is they use intimidation tactics. They did it on me in this stream,
and lies. Like Preston is. What did I lie about?
Listen, Ro. Listen, Panboy. If you want me to address Preston and something he lied about or something that he got wrong, comment on it or send me a tweet, and I will ask him in a future video.
Sure.
I am not about not having you on, but when you behave like that, I don't want to have you. I mean, talking about nipples and back holes. You say you're coming from my back hole. What the hell, man? And that's rapey. And so you said in his few comments that I got from him, he's insinuating rapey humor, and then also a threat.
Right.
So a lot of the people against War Campaign say that this happens a lot. You just proved it.
Right.
That's not funny.
Yeah.
And I think a majority of people won't think it's funny.
Yeah, and as Second Street Marvel said, there's and look, Ethan has his core audience. He's been getting smaller, but he's still kicking up a respectable amount of money. If he just wanted to just sit back and market to those people and chill out, he'd probably do way better, and the scene would be way better. But honestly, that's not what Ethan and War Campaign seem to want to do. It meets the definition of a hate movement. Every week they go, okay, we're going to bond as a community over a shared dislike of that person right there. And it's a new person. It's been Doug TeNapel, it's been Mike S. Miller, it's been me, now it's Fan Advocacy Network, it's been Edwin Boyette, it's been Bean from Pennsylvania. They've always got a new person to attack and bond over a shared hatred of that person over there.
All right, just to give you, I'm not saying what me and Panboy were talking about, but he has given me some concerns, and I will give him the benefit of the doubt, and I will address his concerns in a separate video.
All right.
Anything he wants to tell me or War Campaign wants to tell me, I will make a video on it and give you an update. And well, no, I don't have it now. I'm letting him know that if he raises a concern, I will do my best to give an update. I don't know if it will be with Preston, but I will do an update. And Preston said it's fair of the people in this chat to ask him questions of what he's done wrong or lied about, and I will try to do my best to address it.
Right.
So I'm trying to be fair. I also don't. I've seen absolute undisputed proof that you use intimidation tactics to anyone that wants to have Preston, Doug TeNapel, or anyone else that is no longer Comicsgate that's still trying to run their business. What's the number one thing? You're ruining our business.
Right. Yeah.
You're ruining your business. So you're doing the exact same thing. Hey, you know what? John Malin, I'll even have on. I've talked with John before. I don't necessarily. I'm not reaching out to them, but if they think I've done wrong, fair is fair. I'll have them on. I mean, I got a small channel too, so I don't know if they want to take the time.
Right.
But I got to be fair. So if you have concerns, even if you don't want me to say it publicly now, if you private message me on Twitter, I will not share it and say, I want you to address this. And I will address it to be fair.
And what I feel like they're doing all the time is they're engaging in this false dichotomy. But to borrow a line from Bill Maher, yes, O.J. Simpson could be guilty and the LAPD could be racist, right? You don't have to choose one or the other. So maybe I did some bad things and they did some bad things, because they're always like, well, you shouldn't believe Preston because.
Mhm.
Okay, well, just because maybe I did something bad doesn't mean you didn't do something bad.
Yeah. So I could devote a second video to that. And
Right.
then if you guys, if the public, if the viewers think that Preston's done enough wrong,
Right.
I will invite him back on to address it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
So there's a lot of talk about Preston is just horrible.
I see that everywhere. I
Yeah.
don't know. And I'm like, what did I do? And then I never get to the bottom of whatever it was I'm
I
supposed
know
to
a
do.
lot of I mean you've been covering this stuff, but a lot of the stuff I know a lot of anti-comic skaters
Right.
are really upset with the way Doug's been treated.
Yeah.
It's very public and very nasty.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And no, I'm not homophobic myself.
Right.
But you have to, let's be real.
Sure.
Some people that are very religious have some problems with the gay community.
Right.
I'm not saying that's right, but it's also based in their religion.
Right.
Until they cross the line, they also have a right to run their business. Even I don't like him being preachy either.
Well, hold on, wait. I have a question for you though.
Okay.
What happens if they cross the line?
You mean like Doug?
You said until they cross the line, they have a right to run their business. Well, what happens if they cross the line?
Then you use go within the law, use your rights of the platform or whatever.
Yeah.
To bring it to authorities. I personally, I know, I think I see where you're going with that. That's what you've done.
Right.
But you're also making YouTube videos. So YouTube videos have spin too. When you say the platform, Ethan, you're saying it in a YouTube video. What have you actually done to deplatform him except
make a YouTube video? Yeah.
Except make a YouTube video and use what's within the terms of service of each platform. So that's a fair argument. I see where you're going with that. But I personally don't want to get involved with that.
I understand, but I am involved with it.
And right.
I've had to sit down and go, okay, what preparations do I need to protect myself and my family? You know, and when you start having those kind of decision-making processes, you know, your perspective changes a tiny bit. And you start to go, you know what? Maybe these other people shouldn't be allowed to do this crap all the time.
Right. Man, this is time traveler here.
Yeah.
Go to the authorities. I think if anyone, no, it's subjective to think if people are crossing the line too. But it's within your rights to use the platform's notification tools. And is that actively attacking someone that you could call for a deep dive on someone? That's scary shit.
That is.
And then when you're very dramatic and spin for your YouTube videos, like Ethan, and you're saying they're puppy kickers and scabs, for when the attack or stealing solo debacle, when you say that, that's dangerous talk.
Oh yeah,
that's seriously dangerous.
And he does the voice. You know, he'll do the hi, this is 25. You know, it's the confident, nice guy voice, and then sometimes it's the really shaken voice. It's the what you're gonna deplatform another artist.
Yeah,
and you could almost feel his little lip quivering, like, how dare you? Like, you know, he's suddenly like outraged and quivering and about to cry, and then there's the angry one, like, well, fuck this guy. You know, like Ethan just sits there and cycles through his little emotions. And
if Ethan really respected other creators and it was about the comics, he would say leave Doug alone, even if he doesn't like him. And this is exactly why. Is it SJWs that kick these guys out of comics? Some of them, not all of them. Or bad behavior. There's a history of bad behavior and problems with delivering to your consumer. And you know what? When you talk about it, you get dogpiled and harassed and threatened.
And you know, Ethan, in like the last 2 weeks, has called for the deep dive on me, and then followed up with, and both times it was, well, we're fighting a culture war. That was his justification.
Well, the thing that's scary is a lot of this is in their minds. And why is the book SJWs Always Lie in the thumbnail? That's where a lot of this indoctrination came from where this manufactured war and war profiteers that are
Right.
so invested in this. There's
Right.
a lot of money invested in Comicsgate that just keeps circling around.
Yep.
And there's a lot of websites. And talking about garbage tier, Ethan's got famous by saying this is a garbage tier article. There's a lot of garbage tier articles on both sides, but you won't call it out for your friends with your agenda.
Right.
So there's a lot to discuss here.
Yeah, and you know, going back to Vox Day, who wrote that book, SJW is always like. It really seems like Ethan saw an opportunity, and whether he was essentially fired from DC Comics. He left.
No, I don't know about that.
Okay,
so I'll have to listen to you about that.
But once he was out, and his version of why he was out shifts a whole bunch. From I was there backing my friend Richard C. Meyer to they fired me because I voted for Trump to he's gone through a few different versions of that story. But as I go over on my YouTube channel, he has a history of brigading his fans and attacking people on social media, including the editors he was working for at the time. And basically, no editor wanted to go through that. No editor wanted to have people like War Campaign coming in and being like, hey, asshole. And so, like, people didn't want to work with him. And so over at DC Comics, they're like, sorry, Ethan, no one wants to work with you. Goodbye. Long story short. But, he stumbled upon Vox Day and SJW's Always Lie and, kind of saw this whole culture war outrage thing and just said, wow, there's a whole grift element that I can just, and, like up until then, Comic Artist Pro Secrets was about art and comics and stuff.
Yeah, I think he's changed. Yeah. I do like looking at his old content. He's a lot more happy. Yeah. He kind of got indoctrinated in this with this book. Yeah, and I think this is a go-to book for a lot of big YouTubers on this in this Comicsgate and Fandom Menace game. Right. They're so wrapped up they believe this shit.
Yes,
a lot of this is make believe. I mean, SJWs exist. But do you see this in the real world that much?
Right. I
mean, there are people in the real world, yes, but
yeah. I mean, there are certainly people with whom I politically disagree with, but I'm like the thing is, if you talk to anybody long enough, you're going to have a disagreement with them, particularly about politics. And
listen, though, wait, you have you're trying to make a point here.
Yeah.
Memes and harassment. A lot of people view it. You might not think it's harassment, no way. Right. But I think the public forums, if they're notified, they will think that. And is that attacking you at your business for reporting harassment? No. I mean, it's the rights within the rights of the user of the platform and the platform itself to report this shit.
Yes.
And a lot of it's not funny. No.
And look, you're damaging people. And first of all, when you guys make videos about other people, okay, what did Bean from Pennsylvania do? Because that video I shared on mine, she never made a video. Yeah, she's a customer.
So Comicsgate was supposed to be a customer movement first.
Right. Yeah.
So you're attacking a customer.
Right.
That was disgusting.
Yeah, it was absolutely disgusting. Yeah. And then secondly, like with Edwin, where they're continually accusing him of doing meth and photoshopping his face and gay gangbangs and stuff and just pumping that out over and over again.
That's the platforming people too and ruining their careers.
Yeah, you can imagine if someone wants to do a business deal, like, let me look up Edwin Boyette, and they're like, what's all this shit?
Yeah.
Like, you are doing harm to people.
Right.
So
it's not just memes, bro. It's not just memes, bro.
Right.
You see, this is the argument. It's our freedom of speech. Right. Yes, you have freedom of speech. You don't necessarily are entitled to get paid for your freedom of speech or to have it plastered all over social media. If you want to have freedom of speech, be free all you want in your home and your thing.
Absolutely.
You don't have the rights of other people's businesses because these are other people's businesses. Twitter, YouTube, and you're making money on it. And advertisers don't want to pay for this shit either.
Right. And meanwhile,
you don't have that right. You have the right to speak your mind, but you don't have the right to get paid for it.
And Ethan has called for a deep dive on me. And you better believe if they find something, they're going to put it everywhere. Right. So that is another intimidation tactic that they're doing. And see, you literally call Jeremy and Fandom Menace constantly grifters generalized. Stop whining, you drop. Okay, that's just a general. So, Next.
Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well. Looks like somebody ran out of arguments all of a sudden. But like this is legitimate harm of people. And look, sometimes you will do things that might harm somebody. Like if you really didn't like the Star Wars movie and you go on social media and say, I didn't like it, that might influence somebody else not to buy a ticket. And you have now harmed Disney to the tune of whatever that ticket was. So,
although I personally have done that, I said if you don't like it, don't support it.
Right.
You vote with your wallet.
So there will be times when people, when your opinion and expressing your opinion might cause harm to somebody else. But when you are instead weaponizing that and saying who's in our group and who's not in our group, and whoever's not in our group, we're just going to sit here and harass and lie and do everything within the limits of the platform in order to ruin their life, then you need to be kicked off the platform.
Well, here's what I'll say to Ethan right now. Yeah. I'm not calling for him to be deplatformed.
Sure.
But I'm telling him to get his house in order because it's not right, and mend fences with Doug TenNapel. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm asking him to do, because you're just somebody you don't like. That's another independent creator. Let's be real. You have issues with them, with your ego and whatever else. I'm asking you to stop encouraging a dangerous fan group and to mend fences with Doug TenNapel. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I want Ethan to have a long career. I want him to be successful. I don't want independent creators to go away or be deplatformed. But I'm asking you to stop this shit because it's already got past the line. And instead of addressing it, you say do a deep dive. And that's my number one question for Panboy. Was that you at the con? Not is there proof?
Right.
That's a go-to thing. Prove it.
Yeah, of course. And God, this goes back to like the Soviet Union, where they would come up with charges with you and you had to prove you were innocent. And meanwhile, they would never present your accusers. That's why, in the American legal system, you as the defendant, you get to, interrogate your accusers. You get to see what evidence is there against you, is because this is a classic tactic of prove you're innocent. Well, that's not how it works.
Well, Preston,
yeah.
In the next 5 minutes, I want to end the show. Okay. I want to thank you for being on. And if you have something coming up, go subscribe to this guy. He's doing the hard work. He's putting himself in the bullseye.
Right.
Constantly. You can have your opinions on his motivations. You could have my opinions on my motivation. My motivation is fandom, and it's not about comics anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about improving comics. It's about band-aids for these guys' careers. Maybe they give the opportunity to new creators, but if you speak about anything about them, they will try to damage you.
Right.
And that's not for the love of comics at all.
Well, to me, I believe Ethan has some deep issues. I believe he has a dramatic personality, as they would call it.
Which is dangerous to internet fans.
Yeah. And that, it's I don't think he can help himself. I think he's kind of caught in this cycle, and he's just going to keep doing it the rest of his life. And he's going to keep damaging people as much as he can, to the extent that he can do it, because that's just in his nature to do. And so that's why I said we need to deplatform Ethan Van Sciver. So I don't think he can, because people are like, well, what if you just make friends with Doug TenNapel and, you've got this audience. What if you just marketed comics to them? Like, Ethan's not capable of that. Like, look, go back to the history with Vox. Originally, he had Vox on his show and he interviewed him, and they were going to make comics together. Like, Ethan was like, okay, I'll make all caps comics and you make Arc, whatever Vox's company is, and we'll sit here and promote people, and it'll be this. We will be carving up the right side of the political spectrum and selling comics to them, while the SJWs, I'll take the left side, and it'll be great. And look at where it is now. Now you can't even say that happened without War Campaign freaking out. Like, they deny that reality exists at all. Despite the fact
Kaiser Crimson says I'm silly. Oh, you got me. I'm so upset. I know I'm silly. I'm a guy on YouTube. Yeah. Silly. That's a great thing. It's better than what Ro told me earlier. No Way Here says, hold on. Okay. All right. Whatever.
Yeah.
There was another one there I was looking at. Here's the one I want. Here's the chat was going so fast. This is the one I wanted to.
Okay.
A crowdfunding platform is not made for refunds. It's also for the consumer's rights too, and for the rights of the platform.
And that just goes to show you how far,
even if you disagree with the consumer for asking for a refund, that's not for you to get involved.
Right.
That's not for you to get involved and harass the person.
Right.
That's not. No.
And this shows you how far we have drifted from some consumer thing. Is Comicsgate is now entirely oriented towards the worship of their little e-celeb creators, which is Ethan Van Sciver, and then to a lesser extent Andrew Huerta and John Malin, and but essentially Ethan and his little coterie of friends, and that those people need to be protected at all costs. And if that means that maybe a Comicsgate creator friend of Ethan came out with a comic that never actually happened, well, you know what? You should just shut up, because it was a crowdfunding platform. It's all about funding creators to fight the culture war. And if you happen to get your comic or don't, oh well. So they've abandoned any kind of sense of consumer advocacy.
If you're with us, you're either with us or against us. They're really putting that in place, and it's not about quality either.
No,
it's not. It's you're with us or against us. That's it.
That's it. And that comes from the top, because that's the way Ethan sees it. And that's why they call me dramatic personalities. Is, there's like something you would like changed, like, hey, Ethan, can you maybe not sit there and yell about Doug TenNapel week after week after week after week?
I mean, this happened a year ago.
Yeah.
Is he still talking about it?
Yeah. I mean, look at Dirtworm Doug. Look at that whole campaign he launched with Cecil. It features an ash can that they specifically say in the launch video, this is Doug TenNapel, screw him, buy our book. We want outrage books, spite bucks, buy our book to screw Doug TenNapel. Show him. Like, what did Doug do to you?
Now my personal opinion is both of these movements, Comicsgate and Fandom Menace, are just about people's rights to be assholes and defend it and put that ahead of fandom, ahead of comics.
Right.
If you really love fandom or comics, you would put that ahead of your right to be an asshole. But there's no compromise. We're assholes. Deal with it, and don't call us assholes. And snitches get stitches.
Yep. So
that's what. Oh, what my final thoughts are.
Yeah.
And I'll let you end the show, Preston,
right,
tell them what you're working on. But my final thoughts are: I do not say deplatform anybody. I do say to Ethan, mend fences with Doug, even if you don't like him. Stop this shit and stop encouraging your fanboys, because it's dangerous. Right. And even though it's good for views and getting indie comics funded, some of this fake drama is dangerous, because a lot of people on YouTube and social media don't understand that it's done for done for show. They don't understand that, and you're manipulating audiences too, and that's also dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, and Ethan will have that defense sometimes, or basically it's just memes, bro. Defense for him will be like, well, I'm just doing it for the fans, or I just got to get the outrage going. It was just a joke. But people are taking it seriously. This is escalating. Pan is awaiting felony cyberstalking charges in Washington. And while he's awaiting trial, he went, drove a couple hours and took pictures of the victim in that trial at the local comic book store to prove he was there. He dropped by Wizard World Portland and took pictures from a nearby restaurant to prove he was there. He went on the floor and yelled at me. And after that, Ethan calls for my utter destruction and asks for his fans to do a deep dive. This is getting worse. And eventually the law is going to step in. The ultimate deplatforming will be when people start getting thrown in jail.
I don't want that.
I don't want that either. But I don't believe Ethan can control himself. I think, he's addicted to the drama and the attention. And I think ultimately he has to be removed from YouTube. And that's why we should do it.
No, now. I don't want. I
understand you don't want that. But I'm saying, regardless of whether you want it or you don't want it, it will happen eventually, because the behavior he is engaging in and will continue to engage in harms people. And eventually either the platform will step in or the law will step in. I'm saying I would prefer to do it now, since I happen to be one of their targets. I have kind of a biased interest in that.
Okay.
So
and all I'm asking for Ethan is, if it's for the love of comics, get back to comics, Stop this. A lot of fake drama, manufactured war profiteering. It's there, but you're searching it out to make money off of it. It's dangerous. Stop encouraging your fan group and tell your fanboys to disengage with other indie creators, because that's not for the love of comics.
It's not.
Put the love of comics first instead of your political agenda or your agenda for yourself. It's not, and you know what? I do say he has helped new creators, but for all creators, even though if you don't have them on your show, Comicsgate Live, respect other creators for their business, because it is stopping people from doing business. And that's your biggest issue with Preston. He's attacking our business.
Right.
So you're doing the exact same thing with your little fanboys.
Far worse. Yeah.
And no one is coming for my back hole, and no one's threatened me, bro. Right. Bad behavior. Grow up. You don't want to be called a man boy. Act like a man.
Exactly.
That's not how a man behaves. And that is not, it's your right to say that, but not on social media. It's not. That kind of shit can follow you everywhere. And I honestly say, if you're this tight with this type of behavior, you need to seek help and pull back a little bit from social media. Honestly, if maybe there's something wrong there, they need help and they do not need encouraged.
Yes, I agree. And that's kind of the bad thing about social media is I think it encourages the demons of our lesser nature, I suppose. And Ethan's out of control, and that's
my message to the war campaign. Go get mental health and take a step back and stop threatening people and making fun of them when the majority of the public, and it's public opinion. No one's going to like that. You can't do that in any workplace. You would be fired immediately.
Yeah, can you imagine?
And you won't get hired either.
Right. Yeah. Can you imagine if you're like working at like the lowest level entry job imaginable, like McDonald's, right? And like your coworker pisses you off, so you show up the next day with their face photoshopped into pornographic images that you're just like leaving around. They would fire you immediately and probably call the cops on you. But we're supposed to accept that this happens.
Stop the fudge.
Yeah, we're supposed to accept this happens on Twitter. And meanwhile, like, what they did to Fan Advocacy Network today, I'm going to have to, really.
Yeah, we don't know all the facts either.
No, but
I appreciate Edwin and Voice investigating though.
Yeah, I'm going to put together a video on my channel, PocketJacksComics.com, to go over that. But essentially, there have been charges of child pornography that this guy supposedly, allegedly, according to the war campaign guys, put out there on Twitter. And we don't know if that's real or not, but the thing is, they all jumped on the wagon and retweeted the FBI and stuff without knowing for sure. Right.
You don't know for sure. It was so that's serious.
Yes.
We
do know that.
I'm giving you the benefit to end the show here and say what you're working on. You could say, go sub to my channel. I'm investigating this stuff, and I might go harder on it than I didn't want to go into certain areas, to tell you the truth, because of the type of behavior that Roe did.
I understand.
And a lot of people don't want to come on my show when you're on, honestly, because they don't want to be harassed.
I understand. And that's what they do. And look, I've gotten a lot of DMs from people who are like, I'm a former fan of Ethan's and I'm horrified, but I can't say anything because if I do, I know what's going to happen. So this is absolutely done. This isn't done randomly. This is done for a purpose. And it's an unlawful purpose. You can't run a business like this, which is exactly what Ethan is doing. So anyway.
Okay, so you end the show.
All right.
Your final thoughts, and say go check out your channel.
I'm
done.
Yeah, I'm going to be preparing a video on the events of today regarding Fan Advocacy Network. I do have a series called Last Week in Comics. It comes out every week over at Pocket Jacks Comics. Come on over and check it out.
All right. Thanks for coming. Thanks for everyone viewing, and don't accept threats, even if they're made in a joking manner, because we all know what's been happening. All right. Good night.
Awesome.
I'm ending it.
All right.